to me, many challenges that burden me. My heart center shines and calls to me. This is who I choose to be. Sometimes lessons.
Welcome to the Vibrational Alchemy Podcast. This is Penny Fisher, and we are so glad you are joining us for this week's episode. Hey, everybody. So good to see you for our epic episode 16. You know how I feel about this. I can't believe we're already here, but here we are. I hope you are enjoying your time with the Diamond Portal, this place where we can come together. If you missed last week's episode, if you think of a diamond shape, right? Two triangles, one pointing connected at the base, one pointing up, one pointing down. That is the Diamond Portal, and we've been working with resting in the center of that, where we can be the bridge. We can bridge masculine and feminine, heaven and earth, light and dark. And it's a pretty profound space. I've been doing a lot of work myself in that space, and it has it's brought a lot of insight, a lot of emotion moving. Yeah, I'm crying a lot more than usual in my meditations, but it's all release. So it's all good. And I share that because this can be really big energy that we're inviting into our space. And if you're doing that, you're ready for it. So trust it. That being said, it might be time to level up to a new level of self-care, right? So make sure you're really paying attention to how you're feeling, what's going on for you. Water is critical. Make sure you're drinking enough water. Even if you drink a lot of water, you may need to up it, right? I try to drink about 100 ounces of water a day. I just had a huge healing session and I've been chugging even more. Breath. Make sure you're breathing when you are going through your day, and find that place where all of a sudden you notice you're kind of holding your breath. Just take a minute to breathe in deeply through your nose. Let the breath come all the way down to the very bottom of your torso, and then release it. If you need to go, if you're at work and you need to go into the bathroom for a minute, and just breathe, do that. Breath is beautiful. Movement too is amazing, right? So if you can get outside, if you have access to some place where there are trees, and go walk and have a tree bath, right? They hold tremendous energy. If that's not available to you, or it's just not your thing, or you're somewhere in the world where the, wind chills are below zero right now, we're recording in February, by the way. Put on some music and dance. Put on music that makes you joyful. And it doesn't have to be really upbeat music either. It can be beautiful, relaxing, meditative music that just causes you to put your hand on your heart and sway and twirl and move and put your arms up over your head, right? If you're um, and if you're tired, rest if you can. And if you're energized, go, right? Trust your body. This is big new energy that you're bringing in. And so I want to continue our journey today by talking a little bit about this light now that has always been in you. It always will be in you. It's who you are. And now you're choosing to bring in vibration that is going to amplify that light. And so I want to talk a little bit about that in terms of something called your central channel. I want to talk about how you can connect with this light, how to be very much in partnership with how it gets amplified and activated within you. And this is going to really set the stage for next week, where we're going to talk about tapping into that inner light even more deeply to create our own realities. And then I think we'll see how we go, but we might go on a whole spin about kind of our day-to-day lives, like, dealing with family relationships and dealing with disappointment and heartache. And, because these are all things that we deal with as part of our human experience. Nothing bad, but there it is. And before we hop in, I want to just remind you all that if these podcasts are resonating with you, and you would be interested in taking this work to another level and working with me personally in my vibrational alchemy soul coaching program, you can hop on over to the website, which is vibrationalalchemy.net, and you can grab a free consult called a Sacred Success Call to see if this work at a deeper level would be a good fit for you. So I don't want to put that at the end. We're always in such beautiful energy at the end that I want to just leave you in that space. Okay. So in my meditation this morning, I had one of those really heart-opening moments where I received this beautiful message. And I believe that it was not just for me, but I believe that my guides and your guides knew that I was getting ready to record this. And so this message, I believe, is for all of us. And it's so simple. What they said to me was, empty the cup. Wait, what did they say? Empty the cup, just let go, be the light. Empty the cup, just let go, be the light. And because 3 holds power. Empty the cup, just let go, be the light. And I believe that what they were inviting us to bring our attention to here is a 3-step process. And the first is this idea of empty the cup. If you have a glass of water and it's gotten warm and you want to add some cold water or you want to add ice cubes, but the water's already, the cup is already filled up to the very brim. You can't add anything else. Well, you can, but it's going to spill all over the place, right? So what do you do first? You empty the cup so that you can fill it with what you want. And this is where we all are right now, my friends. We're in this time of tremendous transformation. And it's time for us now to empty out even further the things that no longer serve us. We've been talking a lot about this illusion of duality, this illusion of separation, and that illusion of duality leads us into behaviors and patterns that are no longer serve us. We may have needed them at some point to propel us on our journey, to learn lessons. I was talking with one of the amazing baristas at my local Starbucks this morning, and Jorge was sharing with me that his dad always tells him that even though you've done something that you might regret or wish you had done differently, his dad would say to him, it's never wasted time if you've learned something from it. Right? So I share that with you because all of these behaviors and patterns and things that we have lived into, the things that we have chosen as our self-identities, have not been a waste of time. They've gotten us right here, right to where we are right now, which is where we're supposed to be. And now, as Gordon's beautiful song says, we get to choose who we wish to be. Who do we choose to be in this moment? And I believe for every one of you that you are choosing now to empty out things that you don't need anymore. It might be a self-identity around lack, right? Oh, I'll never have all of the things that I want. It might be a self-identity around um, uh, the way that you speak to other people. It might be a self-identity around not having the job or the relationship that you want. And it's time to let that go, right? And we do that, so empty the cup. We do that by number two, just letting go, just surrendering and trusting that it's all going to be okay. And it will. Remember, we've said this before, it doesn't ever follow the path you think it's going to. And it rarely works out in the way you think it should, but it always works out. I guarantee it. So we empty the cup, we just let go, and then we need to be the light. And this is how we change our vibration, literally the vibration of ourselves, and ourselves like at the cellular level, right? So I came across this quote the other day. Now, if you go online, it's going to be attributed to Einstein, but when I dug a little deeper, apparently nobody can find any evidence that he actually said this. But just in case he did, I wanted to cite him. Um, and this is the quote, wherever it comes from. I think it is just perfect for what we're talking about today. The quote is this: "We are slowed down sound and light waves, a walking bundle of frequencies tuned into the cosmos. We are souls dressed up in sacred biochemical garments, and our bodies are the instruments through which our souls play their music." I don't know, maybe somebody channeled Einstein after he transitioned. I just think that's absolutely gorgeous. This is what we are. We are vibration. We are pure energy. One of my teachers, Eileen McCusick, has written an amazing book called Tuning the Human Biofield. Um, it's something that a modality using tuning forks. I'm actually certified in that and will use that. We do offer some group sessions virtually, and also very often it'll get used in private sessions. But there is a quote from Eileen. It's actually page 15 from her book. And she says this: "Pure energy is electromagnetic radiation. It's light. It is simply frequency, movement, or put another way, sound. Ultimately, everything comes from the stars. So everything is just some form of embodied light when you get right down to it." I love that quote. I go back to it over and over and over again, because if A equals B and B equals C, we are the stuff that stars are made from. We are pure vibrational frequency. And the more that we can work with that light, the more that we can allow that light to flow into us and through us. And remember, this light is a living intelligence, right? It holds information about our lives. There are places in our electromagnetic fields, our biofields, our human auras, where we've left imprints of things that have happened to us in the past. And as those places um, get left unattended, right? If we don't deal with them, then they accrue to them more and more charge. And it's like a beaver building a dam. It blocks up the flow of energy in our fields. We can work with light, the light flowing through us, especially through our central channel, in order to start to release the charge on those blockages so that they become disassembled, I guess. Dissolved, that's a better word. So they become dissolved and allow the energy to flow more freely. Okay. I've been reading another beautiful, beautiful book by Dr. Shamini Jain. And she actually talks about the book is called Healing Ourselves, Biofield Science and the Future of Health. And she's what do I want to say? An Ivy League trained, I think she's out of Columbia, um, uh, medical professional. And she's been studying the connection between energy work and um, science, Western science. But she says that this is actually this flow of energy in our fields and the blockage of that energy in our fields, it can actually be related to past life issues. And she actually talks about karma. I thought this was cool, so I wanted to share this too. She says, and this is from pages 51 and 53 in her book. Again, that book is Healing Ourselves, Biofield Science and the Future of Health. She says, everything we do, say, and think creates informational pattern in the karmic body that gives rise to an action tendency. So each action drives us toward another specific action. Karma is thus created through a chain of actions. And I'm going to pause there a minute. Remember, we talked about what we need to let go of are those old behavioral patterns, the habits, the tendencies that are so ingrained in us. We think we don't have, we not only do we think we don't have control over them, but we actually don't even notice them sometimes, right? I had a situation yesterday where I had asked my partner for help with something. And while he was working on this, I was standing over his shoulder and I kept jumping and jumping and jumping in. And he got really frustrated with me and finally handed me the computer. And he's like, you go ahead and do it. And I walked away and I breathed a little bit and I realized, oh my gosh, I do this. This is a place where I need to have control. Oh, it's an identity. I need to have control because if I don't have control, then something bad is going to happen. Now, where that idea comes from, I'm not sure yet. I'm sitting with it. But this is the kind of thing. So I breathed. I went back to him. I apologized. And I said to him, I really trust you. And I asked for your help for a reason. So here's the laptop. I'm going to go do something else. Let me know if you need my help. And the situation was resolved really quickly and beautifully and with tremendous ease. Coming back to that just let go, what I did after I gave him the laptop was, not to put too fine a point on it, I went to the bathroom. And while I was in there, I was talking to my guides and I started to giggle. And I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter. If I can't fix this problem, then I'll find another way to deal with it. And if I can't find another way to deal with it, then clearly it wasn't supposed to get resolved. And whatever it is, it'll be okay. And I could literally feel the energy just flow out of my body, down my central channel into the earth. And when I came out, I was like, okay, whatever, it's all good. And honestly, within minutes, the whole thing was fixed and resolved. And not the way I thought it would have been, but it was. Okay. So I want to keep going with Dr. Jane's thought here. She says, through conditioning, we experience our consciousness, which by its fundamental nature is all knowing, eternal, and blissful, but we experience it as limited. Because of our human tendencies to engage in attachment, avoidance, and ignorance, we create karma through our thoughts, words, and deeds. Continued habit patterns create karmic patterns in the subtle body, and karma can be seen as nothing more than habits that we can change. When we are aware of our habit patterns and can change them, all the way to recognizing, disrupting, and releasing the karmic pattern, we have liberated ourselves fully from a habit that does not serve us. This literally frees up energy in our systems, which helps us heal and move toward greater well-being, ultimately by experiencing the wellness of our being, which is divinity itself. I, I just, I think that is so beautiful. We want to empty the cup, just let go, and be the light. So, how can we be the light even more? I mean, we are, but how can we now partner with that experience so it replaces what we used to think we were, so that we are choosing that as a self identity, right? Over the one who needs to have control, right? So we can start a really beautiful and simple practice is by starting to work with what's called the central channel. Now, depending on what discipline you come to the central channel with or from, it you might have heard the phrase Antakarana or Shashamna, but it's essentially this tube that runs up through the center of your subtle bodies, if you think about your chakras, right, lined up the middle of your body, your central channel is this beautiful tube of energy that runs up through the center of your body, right? Essentially from the base of your spine up through the crown of your head. And it is part of a bigger system called your biofield. And the human biofield is the shape of a toroid. So if you imagine around your body a big bubble, right? It's three-dimensional, all around your body. It's multidimensional, but for our purposes of envisioning, let's say it's three-dimensional. And if you were to depress that bubble a little bit over the top of your head, and connect it to that central channel, and then push that bubble up a little bit at the bottom of your feet, like down below the bottom of your feet, about 12, 14 inches, and connect it to the bottom of your central channel. You've created a shape that's a toroid, okay? And energy flows through our fields and then up through the central channel and out the crown of our head back into the field, and it goes the other way too. And when we invite the energies from source, from the sun, to flow down into our crowns and then through our central channel and out into the field, we're accessing positively charged ionic energy, right? From a scientific perspective, think of the poles of a battery. We're accessing these positively charged ionic particles to come into our body and cleanse and clear our central channel. And when we connect with the earth and we bring up those beautiful, whew, those beautiful negatively charged particles from the earth, we need those too, right? It's not negative in a bad way, but we bring those up through our central channel, out the crown of our head, and allow them to flow through our fields. We're actually balancing our fields. We're amplifying and activating our light, right? And Dr. Jane, again, in this book, Healing Ourselves, she says biofields can be understood as sets of interpenetrating and interacting fields of energy and information. And that's what we're doing here. We're focusing on this beautiful energetic biome that is ours, but through the world of vibration is actually connected to everyone and everything, right? We've talked about that before, the world of the quantum, right? Where everything's connected. Okay, so we've got this beautiful central channel. Ooh, and we want to open it and activate it. And the practices that I can suggest for all of us are really pretty simple. And the first one is breath. And you hear me as I'm talking about this, I can feel the energy building in my central channel. I want to move that energy, so I breathe in and blow my breath out. But you can also breathe into your central channel and you can connect with the light that's in there. You can use your breath with the intention of the breath actually beginning to light up that central channel. Just notice what color it happens to be, the quality, a texture, a viscosity, and light it up. And just let the breath keep lighting it up. Notice if there are places in your central channel where the breath feels a little stuck. Just be intuitive about it and just breathe. We're amplifying and activating all of that light. It's a beautiful way to start any practice, any daily practice that you have. It's a great thing to do. We talked about breath a minute ago. It's a great thing to do if you're having stress in your day. Just go breathe. But now, in addition to flooding your body with oxygen that helps your cells calm down, set your intention to breathe, to send that breath into the central channel and light it up. As it lights, that light now spills out into your body and into your field and lights you up. Sound is another amazing practice. You can find lots of these. My favorite is to start with a low sound and literally hum it all the way up through my central channel. Notice where it gets stuck and just stay there and play. All right. So, and you can do this in whatever way works for you. For me, I'll start at the bottom. And I'll just hum right up my central channel. And where I stopped and kind of went back and forth, there was a little catch. So I wanted to work with that. Sometimes it'll clear quickly. Sometimes it'll take days. It's okay. Doesn't matter. You can envision your central channel. Just rest and picture your central channel and start to see it light up. Just connect with all the light that's in there, right? And if you participate in one of our biofield tuning sessions or work with me privately, we will actually connect to DNA and all kinds of other cool things that I have found that to be a point of access for. And of course, when you go and settle into your sacred heart chamber and you rest there and you open the portal to the cosmic matrix, right? And if you missed the first episode or two, the cosmic matrix is this, if I think of it as a river, to me, I see it as a rainbow colored river with colors that I can describe to you and others that I've never seen before. And what the cosmic matrix is essentially is a flow of unconditional love, pure unconditional love. I honestly, I don't have words to describe it to you. It comes out of the cosmic heart. It connects all of us. It runs through all dimensions, all time, all space. And we can access it in the way that I've done this is through my heart space. So when I settle into my heart chamber, there is a portal there that I can open. And when you get there and you want to work with your central channel, you can either invite this flow of the cosmic matrix through your heart into your central channel and just work with it that way, or you can step through the portal into the cosmic matrix and just ride the current. And as you are, allow it to infuse your central channel. Light it up, activate it, color it, expand it, right? I think that you might find as you start to work with this, you'll get a sense of the diameter of the tube of the central channel. The more you work with it, the more I think you will sense an expansion of this tube. And you might actually have some super cool experiences of this. And it'll vary, right? When we go through things in our lives that cause contraction for us, that tube might get contracted. And so we might need to spend some time expanding it a little bit. All right. This is really beautiful and powerful work, friends. And I think in the larger scheme of things, pretty simple to implement, right? And it will become a habit. It will become one of those new identities that you can now pour into yourself as you empty your cup. So as you empty your cup, just let go and practice being the light. It will bring you more and more into balance. It becomes easier and easier to move through and I'm air quoting, stuff that life brings us, that our human experience brings us, with more ease, with more joy, with more grace. And as you do this, you will again develop this new identity of self. You will remember who you are, right? It's not a new identity. It's who you've always been. It's who you are. It's who you always will be. You are light. You are love. You are Christ consciousness in physical form. You balance that threefold flame, power, love, and divine wisdom within you. This is how Source sees you, my friends, because it's who you are. And it is my most sincere wish that I send on the flow of the love of the cosmic matrix to each one of you, that you will see yourself, that you will remember, put yourself back together again in the light of this identity. Your identity as a divine being of perfection, of love, of light. I am so grateful to each of you for joining me. I am Penny Starhart. This has been the Vibrational Alchemy Podcast. And until we are together again, it is my sincere wish for each of you that you remember that you are loved and you are love.
This is who I choose to be.